I'm JNAPS MMA. This is my predictions and breakdowns of UFC 305, Dricus to Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. We needed some good fights because that last week's shit show of a card was horrible. And even though some of these fights are kind of trash, not gonna lie to you, until we get to the main card, we needed it. Let's go to the first fight of the night. We have Steve Nichols versus Jesus Aguilar. I gotta go with Steve Nichols here. Jesus Aguilar's last 3 opponents was a loss to Surutyra. Surutyra was out here killing Mexicans like this was Cinco de Mayo. Shannon Ross. He won against Shannon Ross, but anybody in their grandmas can beat Shannon Ross. And Matheus Mendoca. Like, those last 2 are just irrelevant wins. And you have Steve Nichols, which is a younger opponent. And he's in his hometown, man. He's ready, UFC debut, ready in his hometown. That gives you a lot of hype and energy coming into these fights. And in his last 4 fights, they've all been by knockout. And, some of the opponents, like, he's had a 3-3 opponent, which, and a 1-1 opponent, but it doesn't matter, bro. He has the hype coming in, and he's been finishing guys, and I feel like he's gonna get a finish against Jesus Aguilar, probably in the second round by knockout, or if not, he takes it to a decision 29-28. But on to the next fight of the card. We have Kenan Song versus Ricky Glenn. I gotta go with Kenan Song here because his losses are better. Like, he's lost to better guys in the UFC. He lost his last fight. He lost to Kevin Jousset. He beat Rolando Bedoya. He's lost to Gary. He's lost to Ian Gary. He's lost to Max Griffin. He even lost to Alex Morano back in 2018. And in the regional scene, he's lost to Israel Adesanya. I just gotta go with Song because he's had way better losses, and Ricky Glenn, he's just slow on the feet. I'll be honest with you, Ricky Glenn is really slow on the feet. And his last couple opponents in the UFC, he's lost to Drew Dober and Crystal Gallegos. And he hasn't had a win since 2021, but still, bro, like, I don't know, man. I just see Kenan Song doing his thing on the feet, beating Ricky Glenn. He's just too slow. And if it goes to the ground, Kenan Song, I for sure got this. He for sure got this on the ground. On to the next fight of the card, we have Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes. I gotta go with Tom Nolan here. He's the younger guy. And it's kind of like a theme in this card. In like the early prelims, they're feeding the young guys some old heads that, oh my gosh, they should be cut already. But Tom Nolan, two fights in the UFC. He lost to Nicolas Motas in his debut, but he beat Victor Martinez. And I just gotta go with Tom Nolan, man. You gotta go with the younger guy here because, man, Alex Perez, bro, the dude, he's just too old, man. He's just too old. I mean, Alex Reyes, he's just too old. And in his last fights in the UFC, bro, he lost to Charlie Campbell last year. And he hasn't had a win since 2017 against Gil Garrado. And that was not even in the UFC. And he's lost to Mike Perry. So that inactivity for me is just too much inactivity. And on top of that, he's old. He was supposed to fight Haskell, Trevor Peak, and Nathan Levy, but all those canceled because probably this guy was just too old and is getting hurt. At 37 years old, he shouldn't even be in the UFC. But this is a theme of this. It's kind of like a theme in this card. They're giving the younger guys some old heads that shouldn't even be on this shit. On to the next fight of the card. Because I got Tom Nolan. For sure. We have Jack Jenkins versus Herbert Burns. I'm going with Jack Jenkins here because before he got his arm, I don't know what happened to his arm, ripped off of his socket, ripped off his body against Champion Mariscalco. He was doing pretty good. Herbert Burns in his last 3 fights, bro. This is the thing about Herbert Burns. He's a quitter. Once that man's gas tank runs out, he does not want to be in there. He just wants to go home. And his last 3 fights, he's already lost to Julio Arce this year. He literally was so tired. He was so tired, bro, that they had to call the fight. He was just on the ground dying against Bill Algeo. And he missed weight against Daniel Pineda. And that was back in 2021. So a lot of inactivity and just not wanting even to be, he doesn't have the desire to be, in the ring. I mean, in the octagon. He just wants to if it's not a knockout in the first round for him, he doesn't even want to be there. And I just got to give this to Jack Jenkins, man. He's a heavy, heavy favorite as well, man. Minus 550. And I feel like this will be like the first finish in the card. Like, I feel like Jack Jenkins ends him in the first round by knockout. On to the next fight of the card. We have Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos. This is the Gooner fight. For all you Gooners out there, this is the Gooner fight. Yeah, be ready. This one was kind of hard for me to pick. I just gotta go. I want to go Luana Santos here because, first of all, Luana Santos has fought shitty ass opponents. She's fought Stephanie Egger and Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller's trash. She's not even in the UFC anymore. She was just there for all the Gooners out there. And she beat Maria Agapova so fast that she said, let me get a turnaround fight. She did show that her grappling's pretty good. And she did do that little judo dance or whatever. That little nice dance at the end to get the Gooners up and ready. Casey O'Neill, in her last 2 fights, she lost to Ariane Lipski by armbar. And that worries me. Because Ariane Lipski's pretty good, man. But by armbar, on the ground. She's also fought another grappler in Jennifer Maya. And lost by unanimous decision. And she went to a split decision with Roxanne Manafuri that I thought, Casey O'Neill won that fight. But still. I just gotta go with Luana Santos. If it goes to the ground, I feel like Luana Santos can beat her. But Gooners, be ready. This is gonna be a good fight for everybody. On to the next fight of the card. We have who the heck is that? Oh. We have Josh Kubia versus Ricardo Ramos. I gotta go with Josh Kubia here. I just don't feel like he's gonna make mistakes like Ricardo Ramos has done in all his fights. He's not gonna leave his chin out like Ricardo Ramos has done. He's not gonna just, make himself go into bad positions like Ricardo Ramos has done. And in his last 2 fights, he's lost to Julian Erosa by guillotine and Charles Jourdain by guillotine. All in the first round. I just don't see Josh Kubia putting himself in bad positions at all. And he's also lost his last 2 fights, but they've been because, you know, they're just really good. They're just good opponents. Better than him, I guess. But he's not. I just don't feel like he's going to make mistakes. He's like... He's lost to Lerone Murphy and Danny Silva. And that Danny Silva loss was like a split decision. I just gotta go with Josh Culibao. He's just more well-rounded, and he doesn't have dumb fight IQ like Ricardo Ramos does. Look at that photo of Ricardo Ramos right there. Autism looking asshole. On to the main card. We have... This right here should have been on last week's card. Junior Tafa against Valter Walker. Valter Walker in his UFC debut lost to freaking Lucas Bresky. Lucas Bresky just got finished by Mick Parkinson's. And I don't know, man. Like, you can't, like, to lose to Lucas Bresky like that, man. The thing about the heavyweight division, even Tafa, bro. It's just like the fat tubs, bro. They're just, unathletic, and they can't even do something right for themselves. Junior Tafa in his last fight, got his leg, literally kicked the living crap out of him, and he couldn't do anything, bro. Lost to Ricardo's Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. And Rodrigo de Lima was literally just spamming the leg kicks on this man. And his last one was against Parker Porter, another fat tub in the UFC, bro. And he even lost to Usman, bro. And just, if I was going to go with one of these crappy ass heavyweights, I would go with just Tafa, because he's in his hometown. And maybe like his brother Justin, he might bring the fight to Valter. If he brings the fight to Valter Walker, he's gonna win. But I just don't see Valter Walker doing anything, bro. He's just another autistic, fat, tubby ass heavyweight, bro. That we'll discuss more of the heavyweights because we have another one coming up soon. But I got Justin Tafa. On to the next fight of the card, we have Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. I gotta go with Carlos Prates. If you haven't seen my Fighting Nerds video, the potential Carlos Prates has, bro, is amazing, bro. And he's finished all his 3 opponents in the UFC. His Contender Series fight against Mitch Ramirez. He beat Trevin Giles. It was a close fight, but demolished Trevin Giles with that straight left. And that knee to the body that he gave to Radke was nasty. And I feel like his striking is going to go into play here. And he's just been finishing guys left and right, even in the regional scene. And I just can't go with Jingliang because, bro, at 36 years old, hella back injuries. He's missed hella time off. He's literally missed like almost 2 years. His last fight was in like September of, let me see. His last fight was in September of 2022. And his last 2 wins were against Muslim Sokolov and Santiago Ponzinibbio. Those 2 just fought. And that was probably one of like the worst freaking fights I've ever seen. Boring ass fights. Obviously, Li Jingliang is a little bit more athletic, so he's gonna kill those guys. But long stint of just not fighting, and you're coming up against a guy who's really active and he's on the rise right now. I just gotta go with Carlos Prates. I really do. I know Jingliang is going to come crispy as fuck with his suit, you know. Suit and tie, glasses and everything. But that shit ain't going to get you a win, brother. That shit is not going to get you a win. On to the next fight of the card. Now we can talk about the heavyweights. We have Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And this is my problem with the heavyweight division. If it's not Poplovich, Curtis Blades, Jalton Almeida, even Cyril Gane, who hasn't even fought in over a year, who's gonna fight against Volkov, another one, and Tom Aspinall, fuck John Jones. Everybody else in the division is just a fat tub who is just only good at throwing punches, bro. And mind you, if there was still, if there were steroids allowed still, maybe these fat fucks would look something different. Maybe they'll look like Brock Lesnar. I don't really know. But I can't go with Tuivasa. He's just one of those tubs that, first of all, he's on a really bad losing streak, and he lost to Marcin Tybura, bro, who just lost to Sergey Spivak. And I picked Sergey Spivak to win because he's a little bit more athletic than Marcin Tybura, and he's a little bit more younger. And I see Tuivasa getting knocked the fuck out, to be honest with you. I see Tuivasa getting knocked out in the first or second round. Jairzinho Rozenstruik has really good kickboxing, and he's not going to leave his chin out there. He's not going to go into like a slugfest with Tuivasa. He's going to keep it clean on the feet. He's going to use his leg kicks like he did to Shamil Babgaziev, and he's just going to beat Tuivasa. And there's no shoeies coming in this fight. And if I was Tuivasa, maybe this is your time to retire, brother, because I just don't see him winning again, bro. I really don't, unless it's with a really sorry-ass heavyweight that's coming up on the rise. This man might even lose to Mick Parkins, I'm going to be honest with you. He's going to lose to Mick Parkins. What am I talking about? The only way Tuivasa gets to win is probably against Mohamed Usman, bro. I got Jairzinho Rozenstruik. On to the next fight of the card. We have Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. I just gotta go with Mateusz Gamrot because Dan Hooker, he's just too injury prone, man, and he's broken his arm, broken his leg, and I don't know, man. If it goes to the ground, it's Mateusz Gamrot's world, and I can't, bro. Can't go with Dan Hooker, somebody who he's had, his last two wins were pretty good, whatever, Claudios, Politos, whatever, but against Jalen Turner, man, he just got hurt again, broken arm, and then before the Claudios Politos fight, lost to Arnold Allen, lost to Makhachev. I can't go with Dan Hooker, even up against a grappler, because Mateusz Gamrot's I feel like he's just gonna take him to the ground, maybe ride all 3 rounds, and Mateusz Gamrot's a little bit more, I want to say he's more active, man. His last few fights, bro, against Dos Anjos, he looked really good against Dos Anjos. I'm gonna be honest with you, really good against Dos Anjos, and Fazib, he's just done. Fazib, I don't know. He's ever since that loss to Justin Gaethje, Sky, I don't know. Never saw him again. And he also beat Jalen Turner, bro. And that fight against he beat Arman Tsarukyan, bro. Like, be honest with me. I can't go up against a guy who beat Arman Tsarukyan in 2022. Arman Tsarukyan is literally about to fight Islam Makhachev for the belt. Come on. I gotta go with Gamrot here, and I feel like his grappling is gonna overtake Dan Hooker, and he either wins 29-28 all 3 rounds, or he gets a submission. And I feel like he might get a submission. Might get a late round submission, 3rd or 2nd round. I don't know. On to the co-main. We have Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg, the champion. I'm going with the champion, Steve Erceg. Might not have the belt wrapped around him, but he beat Alessandro Pantoja. I don't care what anybody says. He beat that guy. And he's lengthier. He is quicker than Kai Kara France. And on top of that, just knows how to use his kicks. And he has really good takedown defense. Really good takedown defense. Against Pantoja, that man was stuffing takedowns. When I really thought nobody would stuff Pantoja's takedowns in this division, and he showed it. And Kai Kara France has had good wins, man, but it's been like time off, since the Moreno lost. And he lost to Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi is not fought in I don't know how long. But he has notable fights, man. He beat Askar Askarov. But still, man, I just gotta go with Steve Erceg. This is his fight to win. This is his fight to, call out Pantoja again. I heard Pantoja's fighting the guy that came from Ryzen. I forgot his name. I'm gonna forget some of these guys' names. But this is... Erceg's a champ. And I gotta go with Erceg. He might not have the belt, but he beat Pantoja. And he's going to beat the living shit out of Kai Kara France. He might knock him out in the second round or in the first round. Erceg is really good and elite in his striking. On to the main event. We got Guru's boy against the dog toucher. This one... I didn't want to say I thought long and hard to decide who was gonna win this fight, but the way Dricus du Plessis pressures people in fights, and the way he fought against Sean Strickland, I still thought Sean Strickland win, but it was a really close fight, so I can't say that no more. I'm not even gonna say that no more. It was a close fight. Whatever, he won, and Israel Adesanya did not deserve the title shot. And if Dricus du Plessis uses the same game plan that Sean Strickland did and imply takedowns, because he will take down Adesanya. This is not Robert Whittaker. This isn't Gaslam. This isn't Jared Cannonier. This man will apply takedowns and he will take you down and he will ground and pound. And Dricus du Plessis does have a chin too. It's not Marvin Vettori that shit's made out of Italian steel, whatever the hell that chin is made out of. But he's gonna bring the fight to Adesanya. It's not gonna be no technical kickboxing match where he's there kicking legs and... No, it's not. He's going to bring the fight to Adesanya. And I'm not glazing him any type of way, but Adesanya has been inactive already for almost a year. And I don't see it making it an Adesanya fight. It's not. I don't see it like that. Dricus is gonna bring the fight to him, and I think he gets a knockout in the second or third round. Either second or third round knockout, or 29-28 decision, or 30-27. I feel like Dricus just dominates Adesanya in this fight. I don't see him getting caught by no silly shit by Adesanya. Adesanya has not knocked out anybody since Alex Pereira, bro. Which, you look back at it now, that, yeah, whatever. He knocked out Alex Pereira in the 5th round. But, no, in the 2nd round, my bad. He knocked out Alex Pereira in the 2nd round, but, brother. This is what I think. Israel Adesanya's time is up. It's over. His middleweight run is over. He can't hold this belt, bro. He's 35 years old. He's not gonna fight till he's 40 or anything. And he's just done. I feel like Israel is just done. Like, yeah, all the anime kids are going to be saying, you can't be saying that, man. Israel Adesanya is the greatest of all time. He's the greatest middleweight of all time. Shut up. It's over. His run is done. Look at Dricus du Plessis wins and how he's dominated guys. He literally... it was a close fight against Strickland, but he kind of dominated Strickland in some of those rounds. He literally demolished Robert Whittaker, something Israel Adesanya couldn't do. That I think Robert Whittaker won that last fight against Israel Adesanya. He literally demolished Derek Brunson. He demolished Darren Till. He killed Brad Tavares. Like, he's literally just demolished guys. He's 7-0 in the UFC, and it's going to be 8-0. I'm sorry to tell you guys. I'm not even sorry to tell you guys. Dricus du Plessis is going to be a champ. And the downfall of Israel Adesanya is going to happen. And I don't know who he's going to fight next. Probably Strickland. Because if Strickland wants to wait out and say, oh, I want the title shot, they're going to give you Adesanya again. Depending on how that fight goes. Between, first of all, Robert Whittaker and Kazmat. I don't want to see Kazmat getting a title shot. He needs more fights under his belt. Maybe you make Kazmat versus Israel Adesanya, and you give Robert Whittaker the title shot. Or if he's 2 out, maybe you give Strickland. I don't know. But Israel Adesanya's time is done. He is done. But yeah, guys, this is my breakdown and predictions for UFC 305. I'm JNEPS MMA. Like and subscribe. Go show some love to my Diego Lopez video. I got another video coming out Wednesday. Rest in peace, Lucas Tracy. I'm JNEPS MMA, and I'm out.